Students, I am Sanju Hazdia, Assistant Professor of English at Government College Ratanghat. Today I am going to explain last three stanzas of Our Casuarina Tree by Taru Dutt. This poem is included in BA Part 3rd, Paper 1st of English Literature by MGS University Bikaner. So our third stanza is, but not because of its magnificence, dear is the casuarina to my soul. Beneath it we have played, thou years may roll. O sweet companions, loved with love intense, for your sakes shall the tree be ever dear. Blent with your images, it shall arise in memory till the hot tears blind mine eyes. What is that dirge-like murmur that I hear like the sea breaking on a single beach? It is the tree's lament, an eerie speech that haply to the unknown land may reach. So this is the third stanza, and now I am going to explain it line to line. So you should pay heed towards whatever I am saying. But not because of its magnificence, dear is the casuarina to my soul. Poetess is saying this casuarina tree is not so dear to my soul because of its magnificence. Means she is saying that this tree is not so lovely to me, this tree is not so dear to me because of its magnificence. It is not the real reason that I like it. I don't like it because of its grandiorness. Magnificence means grandiorness. You may think that the poetess was liking this tree because it was very huge and very beautiful. No, it was not the real reason. Now the poetess is telling the reason why she likes so much. Beneath it we have played. Why she is liking this tree? Why this tree is so dear to her? Because under this tree she has played with her siblings. Now you can understand, because this tree reminds her about her siblings, Abju and Aru, about her friends who are no more. So beneath it, under it, we have played it. Thou years may roll, thou many years have passed. In her childhood days, she has played with her siblings under this tree, and because of that reason, this tree was so dear to her. So thou years may roll, thou many years have passed. O sweet companions. Now she is addressing to her brother and sister, Abju and Aru, and her friends who are now dead. So, oh sweet companions, you were very sweet companions to me, loved with love intense, and I loved you with full of intensity. My love for you was very intense, and I also love you today, that with full intensity. For your sakes shall the tree be ever dear, and because of you. Now she is telling the real reason. For your sakes means because of you shall the tree be ever dear. This tree will be ever dear means I will love this tree for forever because of you. Shall the tree be ever dear to me? This tree will be ever means this tree will be dear to me for forever. Blend with your images, because this tree is blend with your images. This tree is blend with your images. It shall arise in memory, and this remembrance or these images will arise again and again in my memory till the hot tears blind mine eyes, and these images will arise more and more in my memory till the hot tears come to my eyes, because she was feeling very sad because all the friends and her siblings were dead who played with her in childhood days. So till the hot tears come to her eyes and blind her eyes. What is that dirge like murmur that I hear like the sea breaking on a single beach? Now she is asking a question. What is the dirge like murmur? Dirge means sad song, song that is sung on the death. What is that dirge like murmur? What is that murmuring sound which appears that dirge, which appears very sad, that I hear, which she can hear, like the sea breaking on a single beach. It appears that the sea waves were breaking on a pebbled beach. Single means pebbled. So It appears that the sea waves were breaking on the single beach and they were making the murmuring sound which was appearing like the dirge, which was appearing very sad. It is the tree's lament, and it appears that sound reminds her the tree's lament, as tree was lamenting on the death of her siblings. The murmuring sound of the waves reminds her the murmuring sound of the tree. So it appears that tree was murmuring and making the dirge like sound on the death of her siblings. An eerie speech. Though this speech is very strange. These words are very strange, that happily to the unknown land may reach. But this sound is reaching to her in that unknown land. At that time, poetess was living in a foreign country, so that murmuring sound, that lamenting sound of the tree was reaching to her in that unknown land. So this is the explanation of the third stanza, and I think you can understand it, and what is the emotion, what is the feeling of the poetess. Okay, so now fourth stanza. Unknown yet well known to the eye of faith, aha, I have heard that well far, far away in distant lands, by many a sheltered bay, when slumbered in his cave the water wraith, and the wave gently kissed the classic shore of France or Italy beneath the moon, when earth lay tranced in a dreamless swoon, and every time the music rose before mine inner vision, rose a form sublime, thy form, O tree, as in my happy prime, I saw thee in my own loved native clime. So this is the fourth stanza. And unknown. Why she has used this word? Unknown. Thou this is not clear. It is not known, yet well known to the eye of faith. Yet it is known to the eye of belief. Means though it is not clear to her, but in her inner vision, in her soul, she can understand that sound. So though it is unknown, yet it is well known to the eye of belief. Aha. Hence this is a sad sound. She is very sad. Ah. Okay. So she is sighing. She feels a very sad emotion. So she sighs. I have heard that wail far, far away. And she is saying that she had heard that wailing sound. Wailing sound means weeping sound far, far away, in a very distant country, in a far country, in distant lands. When she was living in a foreign country, she could hear that wailing sound, that weeping sound by many a sheltered bay, and she had heard many times whenever she was standing in near the sheltered bay. Sheltered means it is covered by the trees. So whenever she was standing near the bay which was sheltered, when slumbered in his cave the water wraith, and water is presented as a person, and the water god is slumbered, means water god is sleeping in his cave. Means she has heard that sound many times whenever she was standing near the bay. It was when it was sheltered, and she was hearing that sound when the water wraith was sleeping in his cave, and the waves gently kissed the classic shore, and the waves when the sea waves or the water waves gently kiss the classic shore, when the waves break on the beach, and when the waves come to the nearer to the shore means bank, and that sound reminds her the wailing sound of that tree. Of France or Italy, it doesn't matter wherever she was, in France or Italy, she could hear that lamenting sound of that tree. Beneath the moon, under the moon, beneath means under the moon, when earth lay tranced, means when earth was laying in a very tranced manner, in an unconscious manner, in a dreamless swoon. It was not the dreamy situation, it was the dreamless swoon. Swoon means faint. So when the earth was laying in a unconscious manner, in a dreamless swoon under the moon. and every time the music rose, and every time she could hear that music more in a more clear manner. So every time that music rose, before my inner vision rose a form sublime, and whenever she heard that sound, the form, a sublime form, rose in her inner vision. Means in her soul she could see the image, thy form, your form. Means she is addressing to the tree. Whenever she could hear that wailing sound, that murmuring sound, a sublime form arise in her mind, and that was that tree's image. O tree, she is addressing in a very emotional manner to Casuarina tree. O tree, as in my happy prime, I could see your image as you were in my happy days. When I could see in your childhood days, in the same manner I can see you in at present. So, as in my happy prime, I could see your beautiful image in my childhood days, and you are the same. Nothing is changed. I saw thee. I saw you in my own loved native climate, as I have seen in my native climate. Means, as I have seen you in my garden of Kolkata in my childhood days, your form is the same, and the same form, same image arise in my inner vision whenever I hear such sounds. So this is the explanation of the fourth stanza, and I think you understood it. And now this is the fifth stanza. Therefore I fain would consecrate a lay unto thy honor, tree beloved of those who now in bliss sleep for a repose, dearer than life to me, alas were they. Mayest thou be numbered when my days are done with deathless trees like those in Borodale, under whose awful branches lingered pale, fear, trembling, hope, and death, and the skeleton, and time the shadows, and thou weak the words that would thy beauty fain. O fain rehearse, may love defend thee from oblivion's curse. So this is the last and fifth stanza of the poem, and now I am explaining it. Therefore, because of this, she is telling the reason why she is doing so. Therefore, I willingly declare a lay unto thy honor. I am doing something in your honor. As she is addressing to the tree, as the tree is the elder member of her family. So, therefore, I would consecrate a land to thy honor. So I want to do something in your honor. I want to do some purified thing in your honor. Means, as I am a poetess, I am going to write a poem in your honor. Thy means you. Tree. Now she is addressing again to the tree. O tree, beloved of those who now in bliss sleep for a repose. Beloved of those. Why she was doing so? Why she was writing the poem in honor of that tree? Because beloved of those. Because they were beloved to, means they were her beloved. She loved her siblings so much, so because of them she was writing poem in honor of that tree. Who now in bliss sleep, who are now sleeping, who are sleeping in a blessed manner for a repose, and now they are resting. They are resting in a blessed sleep. Dearer than life to me, they were very dear to me. They were more dear to me than my own life. Were they? Alas, she is very sad, and in a very sad manner she is saying, were they? This is her wish. They were present with her that day. She could live with them, and she could share all those memories with them. So were they? Mayest thou be numbered when my days are done with deathless trees Now she is addressing to the tree again, and she is saying, you will be counted, means you will be numbered or you will be counted in deathless trees, in immortal trees, when my days are done, when I will be gone. After my death, you will be numbered, you will be counted in deathless trees, in immortal trees, like those in Borodale, like the trees, like the yew trees which are standing in Borodale. Means William Wordsworth has written a poem on yew trees on in Borodale. So she is telling to the tree that you will be numbered in the deathless trees like the Borodale trees, like the yew trees of the Borodale, under whose awful branches lingered pale fears, trembling hope, and death the skeleton, and time the shadow. Under whose awful branches, thou the tree is immortal. Thou the poetess is saying that you will become immortal after my poem, but under whose awful branches? But under that tree's awful branches lingered, staying pale fear, means humans can feel the fear, trembling hope, and death. Thou they are bound to death, the skeleton, and they are bound to become a skeleton, and time the shadow, and time is working as a shadow. Means thou the tree is immortal, but under its branches nothing is immortal. As she is saying that under that tree, in her childhood days, she has played with her siblings, and her siblings are no more, and she is also not immortal. So under its branches, whatever will happen, whatever will be living, is not immortal. They are bound to death, and its branches are full of fear, and time is working under the tree as a shadow. And thou weak the verse, and it may be that her verse may be so weak, her poem may be weak, that would thy beauty fain, but it will be so beautiful that it can present the beauty of the tree. So that would thy beauty fain, that can present the beauty of that tree. O fain rehearse, and it would be rehearsed again and again. Means she is saying, thou have poem, thou have verse may be weak, but it would make it beauty rehearse, and it would make its beauty permanent. May love defend thee from oblivion's curse, and I wish that this poem may defend you from forgetfulness curse. Means she wants to save that tree from the forgetfulness curse. It is curse that after their death people are forgotten, but she wants to make that tree immortal. So she wants to she wants to defend that tree from oblivion's curse. So this is the last and fifth stanza of this poem, and I think you understood this poem, and you should read this poem thrice or four times. Okay, bye.